Peter Baelish's obsession. Peter Baelish was born to an insignificant house on the smallest of the Fingers, hence his nickname, Littlefinger. His father, a sellsword's grandson, befriended his liege lord Hoster Tully, and Peter was sent to foster with him at Riverrun. Growing up alongside the lord's children, Catelyn, Lysa, and Edmure, Peter fell in love with Catelyn. This lady, however, was betrothed to her social equal, Brandon Stark, and chose the powerful lord her father had selected over her childhood friend. A jealous Peter challenged the much older and larger Brandon to a duel for her hand. Beforehand, Catelyn begged her fiancé for Peter's life, so Brandon only left him a scar and a lifelong sense of humiliation. Brandon was killed by King Aerys, and, while Peter sent Catelyn a hopeful letter, she burned it unread and married Brandon's brother, Ned. Lysa, in turn, was in love with Peter, and in the series, Peter boasts around King's Landing that he had both Tully girls' maidenheads. After Lysa married Jon Arryn, she convinced her husband to give Peter an appointment, and later to name him Master of Coin. 10 years ago, Jon Arryn had given him minor sinecure in customs, where Lord Peter had soon distinguished himself by bringing in 3 times as much as any of the king's other collectors. King Robert had been a prodigious spender. A man like Peter Baelish, who had a gift for rubbing 2 golden dragons together and breeding a third, was invaluable to his hand. Littlefinger's rise had been arrow swift. Within 3 years of coming to court, he had been made Master of Coin and a member of the small council, and today the crown's revenues were 10 times what they had under his predecessor, though the crown's debt had grown vast. Peter became indispensable to the crown, yet always overlooked and mocked for his birth. No one wanted him to wed their daughters or inherit their holdings, only watch the king's money. And so Peter's resentment grew. More than anything, Peter Baelish wants respect from those who always sneered at him. In particular, he wants Catelyn Stark. His present-day actions all appear to be motivated toward winning back Cat or the nearest substitute. Littlefinger befriends Ned and gives him a bewildering mixture of good advice and bad. At last, he betrays Ned to seize power, but also to get Catelyn. His glee as he personally holds a knife to Ned's throat, the only time in the series he seems to get his hands dirty, emphasizes his agenda. He tries to have Ned sent to the Wall. With him giving up his lands and wife forever, Catelyn will be free to find another, but she won't be as distressed as she would be on his death. However, Joffrey kills Ned, and Catelyn is left to grieve. In Season 2, Peter brings Catelyn her husband's bones and tries to persuade her to be with him. She's revolted and rejects him soundly. Back in King's Landing, he offers to save Sansa and sneak her to safety. In the books, Baelish also offers to take Sansa off the Lannisters' hands and wed her after her father's death. They refuse, for, as Cersei thinks to herself, he's hardly of worthy birth. In the later books, his actions toward her are a combination of affectionate and incestuously creepy. Sansa, of course, resembles her mother with shining red hair. She's an innocent seeking a protector, exactly what inflames Littlefinger the most. Peter is also interested in wedding Lysa Arryn and inheriting her kingdom, but only after Cat refuses him. He's also eager to be named Lord of Harrenhal. It's a vassal of the Tullys, but the Lannisters propose to make it the new Great House of the Riverlands. Cat's father and brother would be subject to Peter, the poor ward they once judged not good enough for Cat. He could thus take his revenge on her family. In fact, since they're in rebellion against King Joffrey, Littlefinger could attack Riverrun and behead his lord, if he desires. On the show more than in the books, Peter's center of power is the brothel, where he can order women to do anything he wishes. He will never be refused again. His whores on the show are an unsubtle means of controlling women, and, notably, the red-headed Ross, with hair the color of Cat's, soon becomes his second-in-command. In the books, he tutors Jane Poole, Sansa's childhood friend, on how to please men within that brothel. Since he cannot drag Sansa or Cat into his lair, he accepts a substitute. Though Peter seems to be a major player in the Game of Thrones, his interests are selfish and petty: greed, lust, and revenge. As he gains more wealth and power, his fall seems inevitable.